is an Eyewitness News special report. Gulf Showdown, the home front.
Good evening. President Bush vows tonight American forces will not fail in the liberation of Kuwait. 2 hours after the U.S. and its allies launched Operation Desert Storm, a massive attack on Iraq, the president told the nation Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein spurned every attempt at peace and must now pay the price.
We are determined to knock out Saddam Hussein's nuclear bomb potential. We will also destroy his chemical weapons facilities. Much of Saddam's artillery and tanks will be destroyed. Our operations are designed to best protect the lives of all the coalition forces by targeting Saddam's vast military arsenal.
The president also repeated his vow that he would not let this war become another Vietnam, that U.S. forces would not have to fight with one hand tied behind their backs.
The president went on tonight to promise our troops they will have the best possible support in the world while requesting that we keep them and their families in our prayers. Some of those families are gathering tonight in East Hartford, and Channel 3's Jim Handley is there. Jim?
Don, we are here at the home of the Keelays in East Hartford. This is a family support group here, a family of 34 families. They've come together and they have stayed huddled in this small living room close to the TV tonight. They just finished about a half an hour ago gathering in a circle, holding hands and reciting the Lord's Prayer. That was just after the president delivered his 10-15-minute speech. After the president's speech, yes, there were some tears and also some cheers, but generally very strong support tonight. The group usually meets every Friday night. They began calling each other together this Wednesday night around 6:45. The timing was a surprise to everyone.
He's shocked that we went to war. The only thing that's held them together is believing that it wouldn't happen. I never wanted to happen. He said up until the last moment that we might be involved in a very protracted...
Husband El Mo behind us says that he very strongly supports the president's speech and hopes that we do not stop now but continue over the next 2 weeks, whatever it takes to continue bombing. He was very supportive tonight. Again, it is a very sad night here. No sleepy eyes. They will not be getting much sleep tonight, that's for sure. Back to you, Don. Denise.
A long night, and we'll be back to you over the course of the evening. Thank you, Jim.
Well, at Westover Air Force Base in Chicopee, the nation's largest, officials are now expecting another flight tonight, fog permitting, of troops on their way to Operation Desert Storm. Channel 3's David Ushery is live at the base with more. David?
Denise, that's right. A group of military police company reservists from New Hampshire will move out later tonight, probably 3 in the morning if the weather permits, on their way to Saudi Arabia. Activity continues here at Westover. The base is at a higher threat level, a threat condition level. That's against anti-terrorism activities. That was taken prior to the air raid was launched. But also the base, Major Rick Dyer, who heads up communications here at Westover, tells me that the base is also engaged in its crisis action team.
Well, the Crisis Action Team is the Commander General Walker and other key members of the staff who monitor our operations here on the base and also monitor what's happening with our aircraft. As we sit here tonight, we have 12 C-5 aircraft in the system at various points throughout the world transporting troops and equipment to Saudi Arabia.
Okay, no other visible signs of difference here since the air raid was launched, but again, those military police company reservists from New Hampshire will be arriving about 10:30 and then ship out about 3 hours later for Saudi Arabia. Back to you, Don and Denise.
All right, Channel 3's David Ushery with a live report from Chicopee.
Well, the president tonight and Secretary of Defense Cheney reporting the Allied air campaign is proceeding according to plan. Channel 3's Jeffrey Cole, our military specialist, is here with a briefing on the success of that campaign so far. Jeff?
Well, Don, so far they've said that the military campaign has gone quite well. They say they are moving on military targets both in Iraq and Kuwait. I'm with Brad Klein, an assistant to the president of the University of Hartford, also an expert on military strategy. What's also important to say is they didn't say what was used, but it's believed the F-15s, possibly F-16s, the F-17A, the stealth bomber may have been used in the attacks tonight. Brad, from what you have been able to view tonight and watch, what do you see, what do you think were the goals of what the U.S. is attempting to do?
Seems that there were 4 goals. One of them was to take out command and control of the Iraqi Air Force. The other one was to destroy the offensive Scud missiles in the western part of the desert, which can do great damage to Israel and to Saudi Arabia. Also generally to win tactical control of the airspace and to avoid civilian casualties.
Now, what's also important to point out, and you mentioned the Scuds. The Scuds are a Soviet-designed missile that Saddam Hussein has. It appears that Hussein and his military people have not been able to fire that. It appears that defense officials would not say exactly whether any had landed. It appears they have not. Why are the Scud missiles so important that they be knocked out to the Israelis, Brad?
Well, they may have chemical weapons atop them. They certainly are weapons of enormous terror and destruction. They are rather inaccurate. In order to accommodate, to reach Israel, they had to expand them and to overload in terms of fuel. They're out here in the western desert and very vulnerable to American attacks.
What we do know is that, as we reported at 6 o'clock, 2 aircraft carriers, the Midway and the Ranger, were moving into the Persian Gulf. They were very close to the Kuwait-Iraqi border. Some of the aircraft that bombed tonight may, in fact, have come from those aircraft carriers. Also, 4 aircraft carriers were in the Red Sea. Once again, some of the jets may have moved there. Correspondents from the networks all reported that they saw F-15s moving out of Saudi Arabia tonight and on up into Iraq and Kuwait. I'm sure we'll be back later on to talk to you about what we can find out about the military strategies, but for now, Don and Denise, back to you.
Thank you, Jeffrey Cole.
And we're planning to be back with another home front update about 30 minutes from now at 10:23.
Stay tuned to Channel 3 for continuing developments in Operation Desert Storm. Good night.